I'm going to say something that might ruffle a few feathers. A lot of people cannot handle Las Vegas. Not the Strip, not the tourist version. I am talking about actually living here, day in and day out. And I'm not saying that to scare you off. I'm saying it because I would much rather you hear the truth from me now than find out the hard way after you have already sold your house and moved here. So today we're talking about the real things people struggle with when they move here and why visiting before you move is not optional. It is essential. Hi friends, if you're new here, I'm Gay-Lynn with Gay-Lynn Martin Real Estate right here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. I've lived here for over 20 years, built my business here, and I help individuals and families every single day make their move to Vegas and help choose the neighborhood that actually fits their lifestyle. All right, grab your protein shake or a coffee or whatever you're sipping on and let's get started. The dry heat argument gets thrown around a lot. And yes, it's different than humid heat, but dry heat at 112 degrees is still 112 degrees. Your car interior becomes dangerous within minutes. Metal seat buckles burn you. Walking your dog at the wrong time of day can hurt their little paws. If you are someone who loves being outdoors all day, every day, you need to experience a Las Vegas July in person before you commit to a move and not just read about it. The electric bill shock. This one catches almost everyone off guard. Running air conditioning nonstop for months at a time adds up fast. And a lot of new residents are genuinely shocked the first time they see a July or August power bill. I always tell people, when you are budgeting your move, do not just look at the mortgage payment. Build in real numbers for utilities during peak summer months, because that number is higher here than in most of the cities people are moving from. Water conservation is a real lifestyle shift. We live in a desert and the entire valley operates with that reality in mind. Watering schedules are regulated. Grass lawns are limited or restricted in a lot of newer communities. Pools need to be managed thoughtfully. If you're coming from somewhere with green lawns everywhere and unlimited watering, this is a genuine mental shift, not just a minor adjustment. People who fight this reality tend to be unhappy here. People who embrace it usually end up loving the desert landscaping and the lower maintenance that comes with it. My almost retired clients moved here from Oregon and love the Joshua trees and cactus and the fact that they have a nearby greenbelt for their dogs and very little yard maintenance. The valley is bigger than people expect. A lot of people picture Las Vegas as just the Strip and maybe a few neighborhoods around it. In reality, the valley is enormous and it is surrounded by 4 different mountain ranges. The Spring Mountains to the west, the Sheep Range to the north, the McCullough Range to the south, and the River Mountains near Henderson and Boulder City. Getting from one side of the valley to the other, say from Summerlin to Henderson, can genuinely take 45 minutes, depending on the time of day. That brings us to the freeway. Long time, locals refuse to call US 95 through the valley the 11 because it changed a few years back, and even though the new signage has gone in, if you're not used to merging traffic, construction zones, and a fast-moving freeway culture, driving here takes some getting used to. I hear 2 comments from people. They either say, I drive the 215 like it's the Indy 500, or Vegas drivers are crazy. And some advice, move to the slow lane if you're driving slow and to the fast lane if you drive fast. I also always tell people, drive the actual commute you would be doing every single day before you move, not just the route from the airport to your hotel. The 24-hour culture is not for everyone. Las Vegas genuinely never closes. Grocery stores, gyms, even some restaurants run around the clock in certain parts of the town. For people, this is a dream. For other people, especially people who came from quiet small towns, the constant motion and light can feel like a lot. There is also the reality of living near a casino resort corridor if that is the area you choose, foot traffic, noise on weekends, and a level of energy that does not really slow down. Desert wildlife is a real thing. This one makes people laugh until it happens to them. We do have scorpions here, along with the occasional roadrunner, jackrabbit, occasionally coyotes, and depending on where you live, the desert tortoise wandering about. Most of it is harmless and honestly kind of charming once you get used to it, but if creepy crawlies are a deal breaker for you, that is something you do want to know before you sign on a house, not after. Monsoon season catches people off guard. Here's another one that surprises people. We get a monsoon season here too, usually midsummer into early fall, and when it rains in the desert, it does not mess around. The ground cannot absorb the water quickly because so much of it is hard packed dirt, caliche, and pavement. So streets and washes can flood fast, sometimes within minutes of a storm rolling through. Local news will cut in with flood warnings, and there will be roads that close completely until the water clears. If you grew up somewhere with steady, gentle rain, this can genuinely catch you off guard the first time you see it. Funny enough, during monsoon season, when the rain is coming down in sheets, all the locals are filming it and posting it on social media. I have multiple times when someone from out of state will see the news posts about floods on the Strip and they ask me if that is for real or an AI video. My advice, when you hear thunder rolling in during summer, do not drive through a flooded street, no matter how shallow it looks. Locals know better, so pull over and wait it out, and once you live here a season or two, you will too. Allergies can surprise you too. Here's a fact most people have never heard before they move here. Las Vegas actually has a real allergy season, and it surprises people because we were desert. For years, this valley was planted with a lot of mulberry and olive trees because they grow fast and handle the heat well, but those trees produce a tremendous amount of pollen. It got bad enough that the county eventually restricted new plantings of those non-fruiting varieties because of how many residents were dealing with allergy symptoms. So, if you are someone who has never had seasonal allergies in your life, do not be surprised if you develop them after a year or two of living here. And if you already deal with allergies somewhere else, talk to your doctor before you move about what to expect, because our triggers are not the same as what you are used to. Spring and early fall tend to be the roughest stretches. The good news is most people adjust over time or take Zyrtec like I do, and there are plenty of longtime residents who barely notice it anymore. It is just one more thing on the list of nobody mentions it in the brochure. If you're watching this and thinking, okay, Las Vegas might actually be my kind of place, make sure you grab my free Las Vegas Relocation Guide. The link is right there in the description. It covers neighborhoods, what it really is like to live here, and how to figure out which area actually fits your lifestyle. It's the best first step, even if you're just considering making Vegas home. The cost of living is not what it used to be. For years, Las Vegas had a reputation as a cheap place to live. That reputation is not fully caught up with reality. Home prices have climbed significantly, and while we still do not have a state income tax, your housing budget here will likely be higher than you remember reading about online a few years ago. I always encourage clients to run actual numbers on actual neighborhoods rather than relying on outdated costs of living comparisons they found in an article. And it's not just the purchase price you need to factor in. Homeowners insurance here factors in things like high wind events and the value of new construction in growing communities. So it is often higher than what people expect coming from older, established markets. Property taxes are reasonable compared to a lot of other states, but they are not zero, and HOA dues vary wildly depending on the community and its amenities. I always tell my clients, do not stretch all the way to the top of your approved loan amount. Leave room in your budget for insurance, property taxes, and HOA dues, because those three together can add a meaningful amount to your monthly payment that a lot of buyers did not plan for until it was too late. The good news is our property taxes right now are number 3 on the lowest in the nation. The HOA myth people get wrong. Now, here is one struggle people think they are going to have that usually is not a real problem. So many buyers come to me terrified of HOAs because of mailbox placement rules they heard about in another state. In reality, most Las Vegas neighborhoods use community mailbox banks rather than individual mailboxes in front of each house. So that particular fear almost never applies here. The HOA conversation in Las Vegas is much more about landscaping standards, paint colors, and amenities, and honestly, a lot of people end up appreciating the structure once they understand what it actually covers. And most HOAs are not policing your every move. The goal is to keep property values up. Why visiting first matters so much. Here's my advice. After years of helping people relocate here, a vacation to the Strip tells you almost nothing about what daily life is actually like. I always recommend that serious buyers come out for a real visit, not a weekend at a resort, but a trip where you drive the local neighborhoods you are considering. Grocery shop at a local store, sit in actual rush hour traffic, and if you can manage it, visit during the summer at least once so you know exactly what you are signing up for. I have worked with families who fell in love with Las Vegas on a winter trip and then struggled badly their first July because they had genuinely never experienced our summer heat in person. I have also worked with people who visited in August on purpose, specifically to stress test themselves, and they moved here with 0 surprises and 0 regrets. Visiting first is not about talking yourself out of the move. It is about making sure the move is the right one with your eyes wide open. Here's the bottom line. Las Vegas is an incredible place to live for the right person, but it is not a fantasy land, and anyone who tells you there is nothing to adjust to is not being honest with you. The heat, the size of the valley, the desert lifestyle, the cost of living, these are all real things, and they are all things you can prepare for if you know about them ahead of time. That is really the whole purpose of this channel, to give you the real picture so you can make a confident, informed decision either way. So tell me in the comments, what is the one thing you personally could not handle about living in Las Vegas. And whether you are looking to move in 9 days or 90 days or more, reach out to me. We get calls and texts every single day from people just like you who are ready to make their move, and we love it. And I would love to be part of making your transition to Vegas as smooth as possible. I have time for you. I answer every single comment. Thanks for hanging out with me.